I'm not gonna lie to you. You got lucky. You got lucky today.
What happened?
So you got lucky because Ron's Wi-Fi is through the roof right now. And I told Ron, I said, Ron, I said I'm going on Chilltown wherever you guys are doing this because I have beef with him. I have beef with him
Uh-oh.
for what he said about Giannis Antetokounmpo on the offense between Jokic.
Uh-huh.
But now I'm the host, and I'm like, all right, I can't be the host and then keep be at you like this. It's chill with chill. You feel me? So it's like,
Whoa. You have beef with Ron.
I got beef with Ron and you. I got beef with everybody right now, which is
Right.
crazy.
But you had beef with Ron though. So I'm getting the smoke. Okay, I'm getting the smoke. That's what's
No,
up.
I would save the smoke for you a different day. Since I am your host for today, I'm not the host. Shouldn't be arguing with the main panelists, so we gotta
Oh,
let that
hey,
rock.
hey, if we got an issue, let's bring it to the table. Let's get to the
Oh,
bottom of it. Let's
oh
do it.
my God! You want to start this off now?
I
Cause you
mean,
got.
first of all, Dub, you are the let's make sure we clear on who you are. You are the leader of toxicity. So we
Yes.
we already know who you are. So if you're gonna be here, right, it's like having a drunk uncle at the party and worrying if he gonna say something crazy. Well, if he gonna be here, you know what it's gonna be. So
So you
don't
just
act like
told me to just say it, huh?
don't
Oh
act like you
man.
don't know what it's gonna be. You know
You
when
see,
you when
but
you when you got
the drunk uncle's in remission right now. The drunk uncle is in therapy and everything, trying to
right.
be on really rehabilitation.
Yeah.
But now you got the guy where he pretends like he doesn't like the toxicity, but now he's like, you know what? Let's bring that toxicity out of that
No,
guy.
here's
Uh
the
oh.
here's the
Uh oh.
difference though. Here's the difference. The difference with the drunk uncle is at any point it could jump off. Not only do you know at any point it could jump off, you know why he here. So it's not like we trying to calm the drunk uncle down. We know who this dude is, and we know that at any point it could jump off. He wouldn't be that uncle if you had him sitting over in the corner. It's like a Doberman. It's like a bulldog. You can have a bulldog sitting in the corner, rubbing him, going, "It's okay." No, yo, take the leash off.
Nah, so you guys was on the panel talking about Giannis in the offense, and I heavily disagree with you about the offensive of Giannis being close to Jokic. Not close, but Jokic not being a better offensive player than Giannis
Right.
Antetokounmpo. Then some of the reasons things you brought up was just, I mean, let's be chill. I have to heavily disagree. I don't think people respect Giannis's mid range. They don't respect his 3-pointer like that.
No,
I
they
think
don't.
what
That
I
part I ain't gonna fight. I won't
yeah,
fight that.
I think what happened with Giannis Antetokounmpo is we seen what he did in the regular season last season. We seen what he did in the postseason 2021, and people wanted to act as if this is who Giannis was and this is who he will be moving forward. When Giannis is showing, especially this year, that maybe that's not who he is. Maybe he's not a guy who his mid range is getting better year in and year out. And maybe we need to wait a little bit and see that Giannis and his mid range and shooting capabilities is something that is still a weakness, a glaring weakness in his game. And that was one of the points that y'all brought up for Giannis being better than Jokic, and then some of the other points are just baffling in my eyes. So I want to
Well,
ask you the question.
well, first of all, Dub, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, first of all, you mentioned we got to wait to see. Well, what are we waiting for? Giannis is in year 10. That's what year we are in right now. So everything you've seen, that's it. You ain't getting no more. It's just gonna be now this, and it's just gonna be this either here or here. But you've seen everything. It's not like in year 12, the dude is just gonna start cracking threes and now he's gonna become a 3-point. No, that's not who Giannis is, right? Giannis is best mid-range games because he can obviously knock the mid-range down. I've seen him do it in plenty of occasions. The problem with Giannis is very much like when he goes to the stripe. When he goes to the stripe, you see him at the free throw line, 9 seconds, 10 seconds, 11 seconds. Shoot the ball. He's trying to shoot the basketball instead of just shooting the basketball. I heard that so many different times. And with watching him, when I watched him against, I brought up the Clipper game. I brought up the Clipper game when he went off on them in the second half. The reason why I brought that game up, because it was just automatic. He just didn't look like he was concerned with whether he was going to shoot in the right spot or whether he was in the right spot. It was just catch, shoot. One dribble, shoot. And his brain it looked like it was on automatic. Where he gets himself in trouble is when he starts to think the game too much. I've seen instances where he doesn't think the game and that mid-range now gets knocked down. And now guys have to honor that. And now it has been respectable. Has it been inconsistent? I'll get with that. But it has been respectable when he's knocking it down and his brain is turned off and he's on automatic. That's the point that I'm making about his mid-range. He's not completely garbage. He's garbage when he's not completely garbage. What he is a guy who doesn't live in the moment as much as he should.
I feel you on that, but if the moments of him not, if he's not living in those moments enough, then I gotta take him for who he is. He's just a guy that doesn't live in those moments. Like LeBron James is a guy where when he's on, he's on.
Right.
When his shot is going, his shot is going. And shoot, I mean, he's probably one of the most dangerous players in NBA history when his shot is going. So,
Right.
I mean, I can't treat LeBron James like he's that. I got to treat him for what he shows me consistently. And consistently,
Right.
Giannis has shown me as a guy who struggles from the mid-range. And then the gap between I want to know what makes Giannis a better offensive player than Jokic.
When I look at Giannis and I look at what he creates for, I see what Joker creates for. When I see what Joker creates for Denver. Aaron Gordon is a recipient of that. Murray is a recipient of that. MPJ is a recipient of that. KCP is a recipient of that. All of these guys are recipients. That's one of the main reasons why Denver is what they are, because of the offense that Joker creates for these guys, not just on the basketball, but off the basketball as well. With that also being said, Giannis does something very similar. With the mid-range being inconsistent, his ability to drive to the basket and attract defenses like he does, his ability to pass, to get Middleton open shots, to get Drew Holiday open shots, to bang on other teams' big men and get them in foul trouble and get second unit big men on the floor and get better shots for Brook Lopez. He's doing those things. His ability to counter moves from defenses one-on-one, whether it's going to the basket in one-on-one or in transition. His ability to do those things. And add that to the fact that when his mid-range is going, now it is inconsistent, but when it is going, he makes himself virtually impossible. And the athletic freak that he is, I mean, I think that goes without saying. So when I think about him overall offensively and what he attracts, I think that he has more gravity.
More gravity than I have to disagree on the gravity part, mainly because Jokic is a guy, as a big man, his responsibilities, a lot of times big men have their guy waiting at the paint. But Jokic,
Correct.
the special thing about him is that he has the ability to draw the defense out. He has the ability to draw the big man out to guard him at the three-point line, guard him at the mid-range, which opens up cutting lanes for Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, which opens up lob threats, which is how Mike Malone is able to operate that system that they have going on. A lot of off-ball movement, so Jokic scans the floor. The paint is freed up for guys for cutting lanes, which makes the offense more dynamic, which is why the Nuggets offense, one of the best offenses in the league, is not just a product of the team, but it's a product of Jokic and who he is. On top of that gravity that Jokic has, you know, people talk about the defensive attention that Giannis has. Jokic has almost the same level of defensive attention in the postseason against the Warriors. In the postseason regularly, he gets double teamed and smacked with double teams a lot more. The difference between the two is you cannot build a wall on Jokic the way that you can build a wall on Giannis. And your friend Fluent said that as a point. And I did not understand that point because I'm like, the reason why they built that wall up on Giannis is because he cannot shoot. So when
Consistently.
Yeah.
Consistently.
So when I put all of that in perspective of Jokic being the better outside shooter, mid-range shooter, his gravity draws the big man out, so opens up cutting lanes for not only for his teammates and other people around him, so that they can get off. He's clearly a better passer, in my opinion. He has better vision, in my opinion, as well. I just don't understand how. I think the dominance factor is what puts Giannis in this conversation, but I don't think it's what puts him over Jokic.
Fair.
All right, then. I just had that beef with you, but I kept it in a calm manner. I didn't want to get OG upset today, man. I don't like it.
You ain't getting me. You ain't getting me upset. Like I said, whenever my uncle come through and it's a bottle of yak in here, I know the party doesn't start until Unc get into a fight with somebody. It don't start until then. So I'm already prepared for that. So even when I found out that you were going to be the host today, right? When you were going to be the host today, I knew that even though it was chill with chill, I was like, because I knew it was going to be something. I was prepared for that. So
got you, bro. We got a super chat from Wayne Go Crazy. Shout out to Wayne Go Crazy. He's been supporting us for a while. Chill running this back. Pat Riley, fraud GM.
How is that? Why is he a fraud GM? I don't understand why he's a fraud GM. I think the problem that you having with the Miami Heat, and Dub, you're a Miami Heat fan. I think the problem that we having with the Miami Heat is the same problem that we have when teams end up winning and they end up going far, we expect them to take that next step. And when they don't, it's, well, what's the problem? Well, the problem is that this Miami Heat team, I think they've peaked. I think that this is as good as it gets with this Miami Heat team. Now, could the roster be upgraded? The problem that we're having with that is the pieces that you have aren't really pieces that are like, who are you going to move Kyle Lowry for to improve your roster? I don't think that you're going to be able to get somebody to improve your roster. Who are you going to, if you're moving buckets to improve your roster, essentially what you're saying is that you starting over. If you're moving Jimmy Butler, okay, we starting over. What we did, this is as far as we're going, and we're starting over. And we're going to start over with Bam, right? If Tyler, guys like Tyler Hero, I don't think Tyler Hero is peaked, but I do think that there's a little bit more left. Strauss, he's a rotation guy, or he's a fringe starter. That's who these guys are. Now, when you got a roster like what the Miami Heat have, it's difficult to improve it when that roster's been together for as long as it's been together to get better players. And I think that's what you guys are looking for. I think Pat Riley is in a space where he's basically trying to get everything that he can out of this roster and try to build it through the draft once this team basically fizzles. See, Riley isn't one of those guys where, he's not one of the modern GM guys where he's constantly making trades. He's going to get everything that he possibly can out of this roster. And once it fizzles, so let's say like the Miami Heat are out in round 1 last year, or they out in round 1 this year. All right, well, now we've probably gone as far as we're going to go with this team. And it's probably time to not just make trades, but let's see if we can get some draft picks. Because he got Bam in the draft, right? Yeah. He got Duncan Robinson in free agency. He got Gabe Vincent in free agency. He got Strauss in free agency. So that's where Pat Riley is in that aspect. Now, when you're talking about the Miami Heat in terms of improving that roster because of the players you have, I don't really think that there's that many players that you have, if you're not going to blow it up, that you're going to improve the roster. If you think about Duncan Robinson, that's $18 million. Who's interested?
I agree. I agree with you. People were on Pat Riley's case for a while, and I was defending him because I said, bro, he doesn't really have a lot of trade assets. Getting rid of Duncan Robinson, nobody really wants him. Kyle Lowry, nobody really wants him. We don't want to give up Bam, Tyler Hero, or Jimmy Butler. So,
right.
In that aspect, everything good right now? Am I lagging?
You were lagging, but you hot now. You back hot. Keep going.
Okay, so yeah, people will Pat Riley's case, and in my head, I'm like, I don't understand why. Mainly because he didn't have a lot of room to operate. The main thing, though, I think this is true, that he fell asleep. He fell asleep, and he didn't push the Kyle Lowry trade. That's the only thing.
The question with the Kyle Lowry, with moving off of Kyle Lowry, because again, Kyle Lowry is in a space where he's got an expiring contract, so he comes off the books. Expiring contracts are usually easy to move. They're not difficult to move. The difference is what are you getting back for Kyle Lowry? You're not getting a 1 back for him, and you're also not getting a lead guard, right? You're not getting a lead guard back for him. So because you're not getting a lead guard back for him, a substantial lead guard back for him, do we just roll with what we got? Probably.
Got you. I'm gonna bring somebody else up here, bro.
Now you hot.
Debate with you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
Now you hot.
You hear me now?
Yeah, you hot.
I'm gonna get somebody up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get somebody else up here to debate with you, bro. Here we go. Sauce man, what's good with you, man?
What up?
What up? I really ain't got no smoke with you, OG. This whole Joker and Kobe thing really is just crazy to me. Like, I think Joker overrated from all this hype he getting, to be honest.
I'm not going to say overrated because he's awesome for what he's doing right now. But to say in a 2-year span, what does this mean? Let's just say for the sake of argument that Joker had a better 2-year span than Kobe Bryant. Is he better than Kobe Bryant? Is that what you're trying to tell me? What are we talking about here? Because a guy, if we're saying Joker had a 2-year span that he was better than Kobe, well, why are you stopping with a 2-year? If you're mentioning that, why are you only mentioning that? Why is it only 2 years? Is he better 4 years? Did he have a better playoff run? So why are you bringing that up? 2 years is not enough of a sample size. That's this year and next year, or this year and last year. So if we're doing that, then why are we stopping with 2 years? And the reason why we're stopping with 2 years is because you can't go past that, even if that's true. And I don't think that that's a legit measuring stick to say that a guy had a better offensive peak, that where he is. And not only that, not only that, the having Joker in that conversation with the all-time greats like they do. Does Joker check the box of his game being timeless? Yes. Did he dominate? Yes. Did he win? That's where it gets tricky.
That's what I was about to say. I don't like the fact that the bulk of his accomplishment or his like praise is coming from the regular season. And I was talking to my friend, I'm like, bro, on like he playing against dudes like Nurk, Mitchell Robinson. The list goes on and on. His best matchups are AD and B, and when he see them, what happens? He can cook Miles Turner. He can cook Mitchell Robinson. He can cook
Rudy Gobert, guys like that.
That's not hard. That's not. Kobe had to go against how many defenders? And then today's game, they looking for matchups. Like Joker is usually scoring on small guys. I mean, he's scoring big dudes, but he's scoring on small dudes too. When did Kobe say he played the Boston Celtics, right? He ain't saying, "Oh, let me get Rondo on me." He going at Ray Allen. He going at KG. He going at Paul Pierce. He going at Kendrick Perkins. He going at everybody. He ain't looking for the smallest dude to bully. He just.
And that's just one. And by the way, that's just one crew. Like you left out that I got to go against Ginobili, and I got to go against Brandon Roy. I got to go against Vince Carter. I got to go against Gilbert Arenas. I got to go against all of these other perimeter players.
He not looking for the weak link on their team. That's what I'm saying. When I watch Kobe give him the ball, he gonna work out against Artest, a defender. He gonna work out against Trevor Ariza in his prime as a good defender. Tony Allen. Who else? You got Bruce Bowen. He not saying, let me get Bruce Bowen off me. Let me go at Tony Parker. He don't do that. Joker, all these dudes nowadays, they looking for a matchup. Like, yeah. I'm like, Kobe really, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
No. But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let y'all keep doing y'all thing. I ain't got no.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Yeah.
All right, my
man. Be safe, bro.
You too.
Peace. We got a couple super chats that came on the way, bro. Yep. I don't think you like this guy, bro. I see you though. Reggie Reg with a super chat. Chill, love the show. Stop capping though. Keep it like that.
Thanks,
Envy with the super chat. Low neglected to bring up Joker's decline in the playoffs last year. He increased his scoring, but his efficiency declined, and he averaged 5 turnovers.
And that was largely due to Golden State's defense, right? Golden State had a much better team defensively. Now, again, I think that he would have been more effective had MPJ, had Jamal Murray been out there. I think he would have been a little bit more effective had those two guys been there. However, with the crew that was on the floor, I think when Draymond Green was covering him, I think he shot something like 39% from the floor when Draymond Green was covering him. And I think for the series, I think he shot something around like 40-something% in the low 40s for the series. I think he went 31-13, but his efficiency wasn't that good. And that was largely due to Golden State being a better defensive team. I can appreciate that. Again, Dub, when we talk about Joker being in an all-time great conversation, that winning box has to get checked. And it hasn't been. I can't put him in that conversation with Lajuan, Chamberlain, David Rock. I can't put him in that conversation yet because them dudes did more than him.
Mm-hmm. But just for offense, though, like Steve Nash didn't win anything. You wouldn't put Steve Nash in like one of the best offensive players ever?
Even if I felt like Steve Nash was one of the better offensive players ever, I can't put him in the same category offensively with Jordan, with James, with Bryant, with Jabbar. I can't put him in that same category with them dudes simply because he didn't check that box. Because when you're a great offensive player and you want me to talk about you like I talk about these other great offensive players who've done more, not just offensively, but overall, you have to have done that. And he didn't. That's why I can't talk about Joker like that yet.
Got you. I'm going to bring up another guy up here, bro. Dev, what's up, bro?
What's up?
What up?
Dub, I actually got a little bit of smoke for you one time, but I'm going to save for the open gym tomorrow.
Oh, no. He's right here. He's right here. He's right here. Don't save it. He's right here. We from Jersey. Listen, we from Jersey, okay? If I see you in the cafeteria, we ain't got to wait till after school. He's right here.
Not for you, but in the A we kind of do things different. In the A we gotta prepare. I prepared, so I want to.
Oh, you ain't ready. Okay.
I'm not ready yet.
That's crazy.
Well, he prepared.
And I'm be honest, because I had some of you early, I forgot what it was initially. That's why I got to rewatch it.
So Dub, I see you in the cafeteria. I want to fight you. I just ain't ready to fight you yet. So
I got you tomorrow.
I'm a smaller dude. That's why I'm a smaller dude. So I got to think about it. I'm a smaller dude. So,
hey, small ain't got nothing to do with it, my man. Bruce Lee was 5'4", 150 pounds. We ain't doing that. No.
But honestly, I want to talk about Jokic real quick because I agree. After what you said, that's a great way you just broke it down. Check out the boxes, and I hear I understand where you come from because on the other day, because you agreed that Jokic is a great player, but for you, he hasn't checked all the boxes in a longevity standpoint, and that's where I agree and disagree with Low because it seems like Low kind of taking it a little bit too far, saying with Ticket while discrediting him. Because one thing what Ticket said, what the competition play, but Giannis falls in the same realm when it comes to competition. But I want to talk about the passing because I don't think Jokic is a better passer than Magic because we can all agree that he's the best passer of all time. And I'm going to say Bron, Kidd, Nash. Stockton, I've not seen Stockton play, so I can't really judge Stockton. I'm not going to, discredit him, so I'm not going to, go
He was, just so you know, he was awesome. He was awesome. He was awesome as a passer.
I actually agree with Mars and Low about John Stockton. I apologize, though.
So I have CP3. So how do you feel? So do you agree that ascending, where do you think Jokic, if he gets a championship, let's say he gets a championship this year, do you feel like he'll be solidified as a top 10 big if he's not that already?
If he wins the league MVP for the third straight year and they end up winning the NBA champ, we got to have a completely different conversation about him. Because now what he did was something that only a few bigs have done. Chamberlain, Jabbar, and not win it 3 times in a row, but to win 3 league MVPs. Now we got to have a completely different conversation because now he checks that box, right? Not only does he check that box, he's still doing it, right? So whenever that's why Curry is still here. And the reason why Curry's still here, even though he's injured right now, because Curry's still playing, and he's still playing at a high level, as opposed to if Curry was over and Curry was doing this, then we'd have a different conversation about Curry. But Curry, his team just won the NBA championship last year. Where he was in the lineup this year, he was in the top 5 in the league in scoring, one of the top 5 players in the game. Same thing with Joker. Joker is arguably the best player in the NBA, and he's still doing this. And if he were to win the league MVP again this year, and they win the NBA championship, we having a completely different conversation.
Right.
But until that happens, I can't have that conversation about him.
Because right now, I know this might be controversial, but I feel like right now he's playing like the best big man since Shaq. And it might be controversial because if you let's look at a big man before Shaq. I feel like he's playing at a higher level than Dwight Howard. Yes, Dwight Howard probably defensively took his team to the finals, but I think the way he's playing these last 3 years offensively and his defense, but I feel like Jokic and Embiid have been playing the best, been the 2 best big men since Shaquille O'Neal. And I do agree with you that the big man era is back now.
It's alive and well, but I think that you are basing what Joker is doing in terms of his well, not just recently biased, but I also think it has a lot to do with him being buckets, right? So when I think about what Olajuwon did over the course of his, not just his career, but that stretch where they won the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons, he was playing as good as any big man ever. That includes what Shaq was doing when they won the NBA championship 3 straight years. He was playing as good as any big man, not just defensively, but offensively as well. I mean, the dude was averaging 27 and almost 14. So he was doing everything that these other guys were doing in almost 4 blocks. So he was both rim protecting and playmaking, scoring. He was doing all of that. So what Joker is doing right now is awesome for right now. But to say that he was playing just as good as Shaq, or I can't leave Olajuwon out of that. I cannot leave Olajuwon out of that.
No. I'm not saying he's playing as good as Shaq, but I'm saying he's the best big man since, because, the big man kind of died out for a little bit.
He's saying he's the best big man since Shaq.
Yeah. He's nowhere near Shaq's level. I'm not, obviously.
Is he? Dub, I'm going to ask you, if you think about what Dwight Howard did in that maybe 4 years stretch.
I'm with you. I'm not going to lie. Dwight Howard in that 4-year stretch on Orlando was phenomenal because not only was he an elite defender, he wasn't a great offensive talent, but he had something there. He as a putback dunker. as a lob threat. I mean, Dwight Howard, especially in this era, with the paint being even more spaced out,
Oh,
Yeah.
I think Dwight Howard be still elite defensively, and then
He should be in the league
offensively he
right
will be
now.
better.
And they
Yeah.
went to him for buckets too. By the way, he wasn't as skilled on the box as Olajuwon or Embiid or somebody like that. But they did go to him for buckets. He had the running hook. He had the left hook drop step. He had the right hook drop step. He did have that. Was he the scorer that Olajuwon was or Shaq was on the box? No, he wasn't that. But he was still viable on the box. And I think that his defense made up for a lot of his offensive deficiencies.
I think with Jokic and Dwight, it's two sides, but it's the same guy, but on different sides, right? Jokic is the elite offensive guy. Dwight is the elite defensive guy. You feel me? So that's how I interpret that scenario.
That's really all I had to say. And before I go, here's a center I'm kind of out on. Not out, but I feel like he hasn't hit his potential on. DeAndre Ayton. I'm not out on him, but I feel like for him to be number 1 overall pick, it's just that, and I don't know if his situation in Phoenix, or in the motor. But
That's
I feel
all
like
it is.
Yeah, it's the
That's all it
motor.
is.
I feel like he should easily be in a conversation with Jokic and Embiid based off his talent.
If he was in Indiana, he'd be a 20 and 10 guy.
That's what I'm saying.
If he was in Indiana, if he was in New Orleans, if he was on a team, like if he was in Toronto, he'd be a 20 and 10 guy.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
But I'll see you tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
Yo, you be safe, Dev. I'll be ready for your notes, man.
Hey, listen, I want to fight, right? But I can't fight you right now because I ain't ready for you.
Hey, chill. I actually almost tried to do the same thing to you. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was like, I'm the host today, bro. I got beef with you, but we gotta save this for another day, bro.
But you was ready though. There's a difference though, dog.
Yeah.
You was actually ready to fight. It wasn't like you wasn't ready to fight. Listen, this is where we at. We had a wedding or we had a party, and I don't want to blow up the party right here. And I got beef with you, so we're gonna do this another time. As opposed to, I got beef with you, dog, but I don't really feel like I'm strong enough to fight you right now.
Yeah, that's
not the same thing. Not the same thing.
Mo knows with another super chat. Overwhelming opinion by the media and fans that Harden's play style is not aesthetically pleasing since joining the Rockets. But for Luka, it's magic. Where does this come from, and do y'all feel the same way?
I don't. I mean, I do not feel the same way about that because he's absolutely correct. James Harden was doing the exact same thing that Luka was doing when he was in Houston, throwing the ball between his legs a bunch of different times. He was a perennial 9-10 assists a game guy. He was doing that. He was buckets. He was their primary ball handler. He was their primary playmaker, right? He was their primary scorer. He was doing all of that stuff, and he was very deficient on the defensive side of the basketball. And the fact that it gets glorified because it's Luka, it's kind of puzzling to me because if you think about what James Harden did in Houston, I mean, he did take them to the West Finals, just like Luka did, right? He did take them to the West Finals, just like Luka did. He is kind of doughy, like Luka is, no question about that. But he also was doing very similar things in terms of his ability to score, his ability to play make. Defensively, he was deficient. So, no, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, I think the main difference between Harden and Luka is that Luka actually performed well in the playoffs, and then James Harden was kind of a dud. So that's the separator right there. Why people favor Luka and not Harden.
And it also happened. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
And it also happened more than once too. See, like the difference with Luka is Luka just getting started, right? So Luka, when he went up against the Clippers with Leonard and Paul George, even though they lost, he iced them dudes, right? Last year when they played against Phoenix. Dub, I turned the game off. How you gonna go in there? How you gonna go in their building and beat them by 40 in Game 7? I'm good.
Oh, bro,
I'm straight.
Yo, that game got me so mad because
you're gonna go in there. You're gonna go in their building and beat them by 40. Now, did he underperform against Golden State? I thought that they did a good job on him. Even though, if you look at if we're going off the numbers, I mean, Luka scored half the time that he had the basketball against Andrew Wiggins. But I thought they did a good job of holding everybody else down. But we're only in year 5 with Luka. See, we've seen a larger sample size with James Harden. That's why the heat is on him like it is. Let Luka start having duds in the playoffs. The conversation with him will change, no doubt.
That's a fact. Deshaun916 with super chat. Thank you. People be forgetting who D12 was when he was on Orlando.
Oh, he was a beast, no doubt.
100%. Reggie Reg. I played COD today. Lost 6 times, but won 3. Is he the GOAT? I think we
I
all
don't know
know
what
what
that
he's referring to.
I don't know what that means, but Reggie Red's a goofball. So
I hear you. I hear
yeah,
you. There was a topic. There was something that happened yesterday, actually, and I know that you want to talk about that. Nate McMillan got fired from Atlanta
yeah.
Hawks, and this is now Trae Young's second coach that he's had in his how many years? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah. This is year
5
5
years.
here.
So yeah, what are your thoughts about that scenario?
I look at Nate McMillan as a head coach, and he's improved teams where he was. So, for example, when he was in Seattle, that team improved. When he was in Indiana, that team improved. Every year, that team had gotten better. If you think about the 18-19 team, the team that lost in 7 games to Cleveland the year before in 17-18, that team came back the next year. Before Victor Oladipo got hurt, I mean, they were 12 games over 500, and they seemed like they were on their way to doing something special. Before Victor Oladipo got hurt, they still managed with their best player. He still managed to coach them to a playoff seed, and they still ended up making the playoffs. He gets on that Atlanta crew, right? He gets with that Atlanta crew, and they're going nowhere. They're going nowhere. They end up firing their coach, and he gets on the crew, and they end up going 15 games over 500. He outcoached Doc in the Eastern Conference semifinals. I thought he did a great job, Dub, in exploiting mismatches. So, for example, where he had Herter running, because what Doc was doing a lot of times, Doc was running a lot of pick and switch. With Doc running a lot of pick and switch, what Nate McMillan did was he exploited that, where he got Curry on the switch with Herter one-on-one. Herter 6'6", and he just went right after Curry. And Doc didn't do anything to adjust to that. So I thought he did a great job, and he outcoached him. The problem that we have is they didn't really do much to upgrade that roster. After they lost last year in the playoffs, they ended up upgrading the roster and bringing in DeJounte Murray. And they gave up a lot of their capital for it, 3 ones, which I'm not sure DeJounte Murray was worth 3 ones, but I thought that he was worth at least a 1. But they did a lot I thought they did something to upgrade the roster. But with that being said, they had a lot of other things going on. We're going to trade John Collins. We're not going to trade John Collins. We're going to trade John. That's affecting his play in addition to what the other things that are going on. So Nate McMillan being 18 games over 500 with that Atlanta team that was going nowhere before he got on the roster, I just didn't appreciate that at all, considering what that roster was and what they had been before he got on the crew and what they were when he got there.
I feel you, bro. I'm gonna bring somebody else up to talk to you more about that, man. Andreas, you there?
Yeah, bro. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What up?
Yeah, bro. I'm the other side of the pond. Nice to meet you guys, man.
Yep.
I had more of a question about teams. It's a little hypothetical I wanted to ask you guys. I don't know if you guys have done it before. So, if you had to take a team between 12-13 Heat and 0-1 Lakers, who do you think is going to win if they were in a 7-game series?
0-1 Lakers.
Yeah, man, that 12-13 Heat, as good as they were, that 0-1 Lakers, they were a half-a-mile freight train with no brakes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out, because I look at that Heat team. All Shaq was doing was rim running and basically burying guys in the post, and they were going to him on a regular, right? So Derek Fisher spreading out the defense. Spreading out the defense. Kobe being what Kobe was offensively. Rick Fox being the defender. He would have neutralized one of those guys. He would have either neutralized. I don't think he would have neutralized James, but I think he could have slowed Dwayne Wade down. I do think that he could have. I think he could have done something to slow Dwayne Wade down. When I look at that Laker team, nobody was slowing them down, man. Nobody.
Do you think any of them could slow down Kobe?
No.
Not the way that. Again, I'm not even thinking about. I'm not thinking about just individual plays. I'm thinking about how they were playing as a unit. I mean, they were rolling. That team, and don't get me wrong, that Heat team in 12-13 with James and how they got rolling in the middle of the season. I mean, Dub, you're a Heat fan. I think they won 28 straight games at one point. I mean, they was rolling. But when the playoffs started, I saw how they had gotten beaten up, going against Indiana, right? Going against San Antonio. I mean, the Lakers, they steamrolled everybody. Smoked everybody. I mean, they had a rhythm that was just impossible to match.
The main thing about the Miami versus Heat is that they have no answers for Shaq or Kobe. As great as LeBron is defensively, I don't think he would ever be able to hold Kobe Bryant. And Chris Bosh or was Chris Anderson at the time They're not checking Shaq. I'm sorry, they're just not. So I think that team is just they got too much firepower on that team, bro. But Andreas, appreciate the question, bro. You
Yes,
be
sir,
easy, all
brother.
right?
Just before I leave, this is another one.
Yes, sir.
Say you put young Kawhi, who went to win the Finals MVP, with a prime Spurs team against that Lakers team. Do they get anything out of that team, or do the Lakers still win?
I think the Lakers still win. I do. I think that I don't think that Bruce Bowen was that much of a. I don't think Kawhi Leonard was that much of a better defensive player than Bruce Bowen was. I don't think he was that much, and they were steamrolling them dudes. I think Leonard was a better offensive player, but I don't think he was that much better of a defensive player, and they steamrolled them dudes. So it probably would have been more of a fight, but I don't think that San Antonio team beats the Lakers because Shaq dominated Dave Robinson, dominated him. Same thing with Kobe Bryant, dominated on the wing.
You talking about Kawhi? You talking about a prime, not 2014 Kawhi Leonard. You talking about 2019 Kawhi?
Let's just say prime Kawhi in that young, but with the prime Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I'm going with San Antonio. I gotta go with.
I just don't think that's fair. I mean, if we're doing that, then all right, let's put 2006 Kobe on that 01 Laker team. Let's do that. Let's put 99 2000 Shaq on that 01 Laker team. That dude. If we're gonna do that, that ain't fair.
I hear you, bro. Andreas, appreciate the questions, bro.
Big up, man. Yeah.
You be safe, bro.
Yeah.
To get back on the Nate McMillan Atlanta Hawks train, I think this should be a testament to Trae Young, man. I really think he may have a chemistry issue with some of the guys, maybe a selfish problem because, like you said, I don't think Nate McMillan is that bad of a coach either. And I
say
just
it, Dub.
Coach
Killer. Say it, Dub. Coach Killer. You can say it.
He could be, right? I don't like putting that label on guys, especially early on in their career. But Jesus Christ, man, 2 coaches in 2 years. And honestly, bro, like people's not talking about this enough. DeJounte Murray's been playing actually phenomenal this season.
Awesome.
And there's no reason why they're at the spot in which they're at now. And
they should be better.
It's sad. It's really sad. It's really sad.
They should be a lot better than what they are, no doubt. A lot better.
Ricky Orton with the super chat. LeBron is great, just like the late Kobe was great, but neither reached Michael Jordan's level. Michael Jordan was better than Kobe and LeBron combined.
Ricky, you bugging on that. You crazy to say something like that. That's not true. Jordan wasn't better than both of those dudes combined. What are you talking about? No. As good as Jay was, he wasn't that good. Damn.
I hear you, man. Should the Lakers go after Nate? From Alex Pickering.
I don't know if they do that, here's what you got to think. Here's what I'm thinking about, Dub. I'm thinking about, as an organization, you're a Heat guy. So what the Heat do is, Spo is homegrown, right? So with Spo being homegrown, he was groomed to be the head coach. So once he became the head coach, now they put the pieces around him in order for him to become successful. Well, the Lakers, that's where it starts. It starts from the top, and it moves down to the coach, then it moves down to the players. So if Darvin Ham is your guy, this isn't a quick fix. If Darvin Ham is your guy, stick with him and build a unit around him for him to coach that unit in order for them to be great. So if we're looking at this Laker team the way it is presently constructed, I don't think that they're constructed to win the NBA championship. No, I don't think that. But if we're moving into the offseason, put together pieces around this team that Darvin Ham can coach where they can be successful. Otherwise, you look like goofballs in the front office if you're just recycling coaches.
Got you. Deshaun 916. What's your guys' take on Yao Ming all time? As a big, is he top 20, and could he be okay in today's era?
I don't know if I can name 20 bigs better than him. Honestly.
Would you say DeMarcus Cousins was better than Yao Ming?
Nope. Not when Yao was healthy. Nope. Mm-mm.
You really wouldn't?
Nope.
Oh man, I don't know about that.
I mean, Yao could shoot the long ball just like Cousins. Yao clean glass. Yao was a better defender. The problem is that Yao had bad wheels. That was the problem. Yao had bad wheels. I don't think that Cousins was better than him long term. I don't. Mm-mm. But when I think about 20 bigs, right? 20 big guys. I don't know if I can name 20 bigs better than Yao.
I'm not sure either. That's actually a pretty long list. Maybe if
Yeah.
we include like what you would say, like Nate Thurman was probably better than him, right?
Nate
Guys
Thurman
back
was a
then.
big Nate. So okay, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell, Lajuan, Diesel, Mikan, let's see,
Nate Thurman.
Thurman, Robinson, Ewan, Moses Malone, Dwight Howard. Then it starts to get tricky because Bill Walton.
He only had 2 good years.
That's what I'm talking about, yo. Like Bill Walton.
But Yao Ming, what his career wasn't that long either, so I think it's fine to put Bill Walton over him.
I think Yao made the All-Star team 8 times. I think he made the All-Pro team
Artis
like.
Gilmore.
I think Artis Gilmore might have been better than Yao. Yeah, I think you can make that case. Artis Gilmore was better than Yao. Dan Issel. Yeah.
Would you say Wes Unseld was better than him?
No.
Okay,
I would
okay,
not.
good.
No.
Okay, good. I was wondering
No.
how far this was gonna go.
No. I don't
Bob
think Wes
McAdoo?
Unseld was better. Maybe Bob McAdoo was better. Maybe.
Bob McAdoo.
I think you can make that argument that Bob McAdoo was better. Led the league in scoring. Which is an interesting fact. I don't know if this is 100% true, and my memory gets a little far. I think Bob McAdoo is the only player to lead the league in scoring and not make the All-NBA team. I don't think that's ever happened before. Yeah, I think it was the 75-76 season. I think he led the NBA in scoring, either 74, 70, one of those, and he did not make the All-NBA team. I think he's the only guy to ever do that. Dalshays.
And did you include Joel and Jokic? Because
I ain't bringing Joel Embiid. I didn't bring in Jokic.
I think we're getting pretty close.
Are we getting close to 20?
Yeah, we're actually getting really close to 20. So I don't think he's top 20. I would say Boogie is better than him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Alonzo Mourning.
Robert Parrish.
Parrish. Wait a minute. We are getting close to 20. Yeah. Parrish, Mourning.
I know we're forgetting somebody else.
Who am I leaving out? The big guy. Ewing.
You said Ewing.
I said Ewing already. I'm sorry.
Ralph Sampson. I'm not sure about Ralph.
I don't think Ralph played long enough. Even though Yao was riddled with injuries too, but I think Ralph was a better player than Yao. He was a better athlete, but I don't think he did it long enough. I think it gets tricky around 11 or 12, but then we started naming off more guys. Now that I think about it,
Ben Wallace, I would say was better.
I'm not sure that Ben Wallace was better than Yao.
We're talking about the great Ben Wallace. Was wrong.
He was a better defensive player than Yao. That's not a question. He was a better defensive player. I don't think that's a question. Was he a better overall player than Yao? I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I don't know about that. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm not sure about that one.
I'm gonna make sure Ticket don't see this one, bro.
Yeah, right? I'm not sure about that. So,
yo, Leave. What's good with you, bro?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go with the nonsense.
Chill, man. This ain't nonsense. Don't go there. It ain't nonsense, man. But Dev had a lot of respect, man. Dub, I appreciate everything you done for me, but in terms of putting my name out there. But right now, bro, we need to talk. This CP3 garbage that you're putting out, bro, it need to stop.
God.
It need to stop.
What's garbage, Lee? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Dub told me that if you put Chris Paul from 2011 on the 2011 Celtics, he would have been the best player on a championship team. Now, let's remind ourselves of what happened in 2011. In the Western Conference, you had somebody by the name of Dirk Nowitzki who just so happened to have one of the top 5 or maybe top 10 playoff runs, by the way. And don't even say he didn't, Dub, because you know he did. That's one. Now, and you not only went there, you said in 2012 that he would be the best player on Oklahoma City Thunder team that went to the finals and played who? LeBron James and the Miami Heat that year. And you said he was going to be the best player on that team.
I would want to correct you on that. I did say 2011 on the Boston Celtics, but I said if you put Chris Paul on that 2012 team with Kevin Durant, I think they win. I didn't say he would automatically be the best player on that team. I just think that they would win.
Oh, you think that
But
they will win?
yeah,
Now,
Chris-
now, hold on, rewind. Russell Westbrook, is Chris Paul better than Russell Westbrook in 2011? Yes. 2012? Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
He
But
is. No doubt about that.
is he good at? But hold up. That's not even the question. The question is, is he good enough to be on that team and win a championship over the Miami Heat?
That series, like we said, like that series was pretty close. Russell Westbrook had a very bad performance against the Miami Heat squad, while Kevin Durant actually had a phenomenal performance. CP3 at that time would have being a more efficient scorer, a better passer and playmaker and decision maker at that time.
You sure?
More efficient score, yes. CP3, yes.
You sure?
Leaf,
you want me to
Leaf, if you remember that 2012 finals, the point guard position was the difference. I mean, Magic Johnson has said it. It's the worst point guard play he's ever seen.
Okay,
it was the difference. It was the difference in the series.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Can I give y'all what Chris Paul was doing that year? Can I give y'all that?
Mm-hmm.
He was averaging 18. Mind you, a year before you told me you reminded me, Dub, of something. You reminded me the year before when he was playing Kobe in the 6-game series at that he was averaging 22-11 off of what 50-40 splits and whatever, and a good efficiency, bro, like about 60% efficiency, I think. I want to say. Give around that tape. You know what he was doing the very next year? He was averaging 18. He dropped to 18 from his 22 points. He dropped all the way to 8 assists from 11 assists. And then the efficiency dropped all the way under 48. 48. So the efficiency thing that you just named is dead.
You talking about Chris
Paul. And he did that in 11 play in 2012 in the playoffs. That's what I'm telling you, in the playoffs. Not in the regular season, not in the preseason, none of that. In the playoffs. In 11 games. 11-game sample size. So
there's a difference between playing next to a second-year Blake Griffin and Kevin Durant, right? CP3, him not being that main guy for that team and leaning on Kevin Durant and his play style and his scoring gravity actually makes it easier for him to get off. It makes it easier for him to distribute to other guys. So it's not the same scenario. So I hear your point with that, but pairing Chris Paul next to Kevin Durant, making it easier for him to get off and the guys around him, opens up the game for not just him but everybody else around them. So I don't
Leaf, you don't see the correlation. You got a 30-10 guy that I'm playing with in the finals. That's who.
No.
If I'm running with, I mean, I think that's a lot different.
But all we really talking about is dropping Chris Paul on that team. I don't think we going off of potential. We going off of just dropping them in there. Right. I'm telling y'all, bro, these numbers that I just named off in 2012 playoffs. If y'all really, if just as simple as dropping them in there, if y'all think that's cutting it for that Thunder team who had, I think, did they have James Harden that year?
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
They had James Harden that year, bro. It was Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Westbrook. You basically switching Westbrook out. Ibaka. Who else they had?
Let's see. Kendrick Perkins was on that crew.
Ill.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins was on that crew. Yeah, that's who I remember.
Dabo Sevolosha and Derek Fisher was on that team as well.
Oh God.
The point that you're missing, Leaf, is that and it's also what I argue with Ron about schematically, right? The Miami Heat were schematically going under screens, allowing Russell Westbrook to be open and relying on his decision making to hinder the team. Chris Paul doesn't have that same type of flaws. Chris Paul is a guy where he's going to make the correct reads. He's going to make the correct decision. I trust him to hit the shots and not take bonehead shots and force the defenses to play tighter to him because of who he is, right? So paired up next to Kevin Durant, where Kevin Durant was having a phenomenal series in that against the Miami Heat. I don't trust CP3 to have a downfall the way that Russell Westbrook did.
You don't, but let's remind ourselves what the Miami Heat defense was that year. Do you know, Lo? Do you remember what they was that year?
They were great. They were great defensively. Nobody's discounting.
They were very great defensively. So what upon what you just said, they'll know the scouting report at least about Chris Paul, about not going under screens like they did against Russell Westbrook, and at least trying to get the ball out of his hands or trap. Because they were very good at trapping smaller defenders, were they not?
Who, the Heat?
Well, they were very good at trapping smaller players that year and forcing turnovers, were they not?
Yeah, they were. They were actually really good at doing that. That's where they made their bread and butter on as well. But like I said before, having a Kevin Durant next to you to alleviate some of that pressure, they can't afford to be doing that. And I trust Chris Paul to get the ball out of his hands facing that type of situation way more than Russell Westbrook.
I don't know if I
trust. I mean, I'm
I
sorry.
don't know if I trust. I don't know if I trust Chris Paul.
You're trying to sit here and try to negate Chris Paul's play as if Russell Westbrook having Kevin Durant, as if Chris Paul wasn't just a better player than Russell Westbrook in that year. He just was. He was clearly a better player than him.
He was.
Right? So a better player in Chris Paul, who's not going to struggle
in
the same
terms
way
of
that
impact,
Westbrook.
yeah, he definitely was.
That's not going to struggle the same that Westbrook struggled against in that finals. Who's not going to be the team's not going to be going under screens in that finals. He's a better decision maker. He's a better passer. I don't understand why you're even trying to have this argument that Chris Paul isn't the guy that's going to put them over.
I'm saying that because Chris Paul, like in that year, like when you even go to the years before that, he struggled against probably defensive teams under the Miami that was less than the Miami Heat all the way up until that point. You talked about the 2011 joint, and then you walked it back just a few minutes ago to now the 2012 joint. There's no reason for me to believe that Chris Paul is going to be the difference maker in them winning.
You don't have to
believe
Miami
it.
Heat. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe
Leaf,
it.
you also leaving out the other side of the basketball. Chris Paul was an elite defender also.
He was.
So that's also in the process of him being an elite defender, he's also creating offense through that. That's another aspect of his ability to play makes. He's speeding up the game. He's in addition to him scoring the basketball, he's also creating other offensive opportunities for other guys with his defense.
Right.
So being on that Oklahoma City team with a rim protector like Ibaka, right? With a rebounder like Ibaka, I think that point guard play that enhances everything else that they're doing.
Right. So all right. So you honestly, in terms of just the matchup, you believe in that matchups wins the series 90% of the time, large percent of the time.
Do I think
matchups
play a big part in what goes on? No question about that. I think that to be honest with you, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think they have a better shot. I don't know if they beat Miami, but I think they got a better shot with Chris Paul than they did with Russell Westbrook.
All right, saying they got a better shot, like that's more reasonable. But like, I don't know who was beating that Miami team that year. Just in terms of like, and if we go
Pacers almost did.
The best chance,
Pacers almost did.
No, Boston. I know that was Boston. That in 2012, that was Boston. Remember they was
yeah.
And then LeBron had that game 6, bro. And then everybody looking
at
Boston like,
that's
what
why
the hell just happened?
That's why I'm saying I don't know who can beat that Miami Heat squad. I mean, you're just going off of name value. They did almost lose a series to the Boston Celtics, so I don't understand why it's so far-fetched to believe that.
I'm talking about I don't know who was able to beat them after LeBron went for that game 6. Because when they had that, they basically understood what they needed to do. Defensively, they locked in, and then it was just off to the races, bro. If you could give me somebody from that year, we like listen. Chilltown just said Chris Paul. They probably have a better chance, and it doesn't look as crazy as it looks in terms of the outcome, in terms of hindsight being 4-1. But if you could give me another player or another cast of players or whatever that could have did better than them during that time, I'm all ears, bro.
Leave. I'll come pull up to Open Gym tomorrow, and then we'll deep dive into this. You know,
I'm at work tomorrow, bro. I gotta pull up Friday, bro.
Friday is cool. I don't want to take too much of Chilltown's time.
My bad, man. I just had to fight you for a minute, man. Yeah, Chilltown. I'm later, bro. Like for
real. Be safe, bro.
I'm on your block later, man. You know where I'm at.
I love Leaf, man.
Leaf wild as hell, yo. Leaf so wild, it ain't even funny, dude.
He's an elite guy, bro. I love
Leaf super wild.
Sports PSP. Dwight Howard over Yao. Not ridiculous. Not ridiculous.
That's not, yo.
Zion with a super chat. Although CP3 might not be a choker because of the way he plays, but if you are unavailable consistently, then you are a playoff choker. CP3 stays hurt.
I think those two things are two different things. Being hurt and underperforming are not the same thing. If you underperform, that makes you a choker. If I rolled my ankle and I can't go, or if I broke my wrist like CP3 did, I think in 16 in the playoffs, that's not the same thing as underperforming and going to the free throw line and missing free throws or not being able to knock down wide open shots. Those two things are not the same thing, sir. Don't get me wrong. Being available in the playoffs matters. Your availability is your best ability, but not being available does not mean you choke. No, it doesn't.
Well said. Angie Carr, start bench cut. D Rose.
Hey, Angie,
Westbrook,
how are you, dear?
D
Let's
Rose,
see.
Westbrook, Kyrie, all healthy.
Start bench cut. I'm starting Westbrook. I'm damn. Here's the problem. I hate these start bench cut things, and because they're not just get this guy. Derrick Rose, he had a 4-year stretch where he was awesome and he won the league MVP. But from age 22 up until today, he's been average at best. He hasn't been elite. So he had that 3-4 year stretch, and Russell Westbrook passed him. So I'm starting Westbrook. Same thing with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving passed him, and he did more. So I'm starting Westbrook. I'm benching Irv, and I'm cutting Westbrook because we didn't see Derrick Rose. We got a glimpse of him, of what he could have been. We saw Westbrook. We saw Kyrie Irving. We didn't get to see Derrick Rose.
So wait, for these start bench cuts, you don't look at just like the best versions of themselves. You just look at them.
Okay, so if we doing that, now it's the best version of them. I mean, the best version of Derrick Rose against the best version of Westbrook against the best version of Kyrie Irving. Well, let's see. The best version of Derrick Rose was his MVP season. Was that better than Russell Westbrook's MVP season? No, it was not. And Kyrie Irving, was his best version of Kyrie Irving better than Derrick Rose? I don't think against Derrick Rose's best season. I don't think so. I do not think so. So if we're going best versions, it would be Westbrook, D Rose, cut Irv.
Got you. Travis Weems with a super chat. Chill. What is Bronny James NBA comparison / potential, and where do you think he'll land in the draft? Also, how are him and Bron going to play together?
Well, the one thing about him is I don't think he's going to school. I think he's going to end up in either the G League or overseas. But I don't think James is going to let his son play overseas. I don't think he's going to do that. But if he does end up going to school, which I'd be surprised, I think he's going to stay close. And I think a team would take a chance on him simply off the strength of the gravity that his father brings. Because his father already made it clear that he's going to play wherever his son plays. So I could see him as a mid-first rounder. Today, I don't know what he's going to look like in a year, but I could see him as a mid-first rounder. In terms of a comparison, he's a super freak athlete. He's got a little bit of Gilbert Arenas in him in terms of his ability to score. His athleticism, he reminds me a lot of Donovan Mitchell. He's smart like Mike Conley. So those are the three guys that I'm thinking about off the top of my head in terms of a combination of guys.
Got you. Another one of the topics I know you wanted to get into was All-Star Weekend, man. All-Star Weekend I thought the dunk contest was pretty well in the three-point contest, but the All-Star game was a huge letdown, and that's notorious. So I want to know your thoughts on All-Star Weekend, maybe some ways that they can improve it, and just your overall takes on that.
I don't know if they can improve it though, Dub. And the reason why I don't know if they can improve it because there is no incentive. See, the two best All-Star games that I saw was the 98 All-Star game and the 88 All-Star game. The 2003 All-Star game was awesome. The 2006 or the 93 All-Star game was awesome too. But the reason why these games were as competitive as they were is because that's all they had. If you look at these guys today that are All-Stars, a lot of these guys are brand names, and they got a whole bunch of other stuff going on off the floor. So social media, what it's done is it's enhanced a lot of these guys' image. So I know where you live, Dub. I know what you drive. I know what you wear, and I know what your chick look like. I know who you hang with. I know where you eat. I know all of this stuff. And the post that holds up that tent is your game, right? So if we get into an All-Star game and you get roasted, that stuff is now jeopardized. And you're not interested in jeopardizing that. So instead, we'll have an Olay session, right? We'll have a session where these guys won't compete, or they might make it look like they're competing, as opposed to back then, 1988 with Jordan and Malone and Magic. and Stockton and Isaiah, and it's in Chicago. Magic is making it clear Isaiah Thomas is not going to outclass him. Malone is making it clear I'm better than Barkley. Barkley is like, I'm going to kick Malone's ass. So there was more to play for. There was more to play for. And the reason why there was more to play for is not because of the endorsements, because there was none. It was about your game. That's all they really had. So today, there's so many other things off the floor that they have that they don't have to jeopardize their game. And I think these guys are afraid more than anything of getting outclassed. The skills competition, which is my favorite competition of the weekend, they got to get it back to being individualized. This team skills competition, I think it's whack. I think it devalues the actual skills competition. Dub, I was thinking to myself watching it and remembering how much I enjoyed it when Russell Westbrook was in it, when Damian Lillard was in it, and thinking how dope it would be if can you imagine if Magic was in it and Mark Price was in it and Stockton was in it and, Isaiah Thomas, how much better it would be, because these guys actually would take pride in, who's the most skilled guard in the game, as opposed to a guy like Jordan Clarkson saying that he wasn't even trying. And the reason why he wasn't even trying is because, again, these guys are afraid of being outclassed. They're afraid of being embarrassed. And the reason why they're afraid of being embarrassed is because they're not confident in their game. I'm not scared to get out there and show my skills. If I'm confident in it, I'm not scared to go up against Drew Holiday in the All-Star game. If I'm confident in my game, I'm not scared to do that. But these guys are afraid of getting outclassed, and they're afraid of the other stuff going away. And I think that that's corny, man. So the idea of incentivizing it, well, it can't be about money, because these guys make plenty of bread, right? These guys make plenty of bread, so it can't just be about bread. Could it be about more endorsements? Maybe. Could you? I don't think that there's anything you could really do about. I can't make you compete, Dub. I can't do that. I cannot make you compete. And I think the problem that we have is that these guys won't compete because of the other stuff that they have.
Dang, I don't even know what to say to you. I was thinking of a question, but I mean, you hit a lot of it on the money. It's sad. It's a sad state where we're at with the NBA. I know for the dunk contest and maybe three-point shooting contest, I came up with the idea of maybe having a lot of guys from other leagues participate, like McClung. I seen he won 100K in that slam dunk contest. That's more than his whole career earnings,
Think
So you have
that.
yeah, that's and
Wow.
so the competition level for a lot of those guys coming from other leagues, G leagues, Euro leagues, or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's more of an opportunity for those guys to, one, give us a good performance, because now they have more of a yearning to want to win.
Right.
And two, they want to get their name out there as well, so it's more meaningful for them. And I think that would therefore create competition amongst the NBA of, you know what, I got all these guys coming into other leagues and showing up the NBA.
Right.
Now I got to go out there and take this more serious to show what the NBA is really about.
Well, the flip side to that, Dub, is that's actually less incentive, because, well, not only am I not going to get shown up by this dude that plays in the NBA, I'm damn sure not going to get shown up by a dude that play in the G League. Hell no. I'm not going to.
So you think they'll not want to play even more because
Hell
of that?
no. Why am I? So it's bad enough I don't want Jason Tatum busting my ass, right? It's bad enough I don't want Jaylen Brown or Chris Paul giving me the business. You think that this dude that plays for the Santa Cruz, whatever they are, the Golden State Warriors affiliate, you think I want him out dunking me? How much worse does that make me look? I can't have that.
And that'll motivate you to do it, to actually work on your craft more, right?
I would think that you would be more. I always stood on this logic. When you the champ, anybody can get the smoke. Doesn't matter who it is. When you are the champ, whoever wants it can get it. These guys don't operate like that, though. They operate where I got to be really selective on who I'm dealing with, because I don't want to get outclassed by just anybody. But if you're the champ, just like the NBA, it's the NBA slam dunk contest. It's not the G League slam dunk contest. It's not the Euro League slam dunk contest. So if it's the NBA slam dunk contest, it's the best dunkers in the NBA, just like it's the NBA All-Star game. It's the best players in the world playing in a pickup game, which should actually be that. Dub, you know them front seats, I think, at the All-Star game go for like $50,000, something crazy like that.
That's crazy.
They go for something. Game? Yeah, they go for something crazy like $50,000 to sit in the front row of the All-Star. It's like 20, like on top of that in Utah, something like 20, something ridiculous like that. to sit in the front row of the NBA All-Star game to watch just basically guys not even playing. That's super corny to me. Super corny.
I feel you on that. David Estello with the super chat. Thoughts on JJ Redick and Gilbert Arenas' recent comments?
I did not hear their recent comments. I heard. I just made a post about Gilbert Arenas. He had talked about Bill Laimbeer couldn't play in today's game, and he referenced Bill Laimbeer's defense and how hard he was fouling. He couldn't play in today's game. Well, first of all, number one, Bill Laimbeer wasn't always a member of the Bad Boys. So let's make sure we clear on that. He wasn't always a member of the Bad Boys. And they developed that. They ended up developing that mantra. They developed that tag later on. But with that being said, we're completely leaving out the offensive side of the basketball. I mean, Bill Laimbeer was the first stretch five. Not only was he the first stretch five, he was an elite rebounder. And there's no reason for me to think that he couldn't play today as smart as Bill Laimbeer was. There's no reason for me to believe that. I haven't heard what JJ Redick said, but I did address that with Gilbert Arenas.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of weird though, saying that he wouldn't be able to play just because of the fouls.
Right.
I think he would have an understanding on when not to draw fouls and
right
like that. Reggie Dredge with another super chat. This is your favorite guy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Chill trolling aside, with today's NBA players being more skilled, why was the skills challenge so effing terrible?
Terrible, Reggie Reg. Absolutely garbage. You would think that we're in a not just skilled era, a more skilled era, a more athletic era, which means that in addition to the skills competition that you just brought up, wouldn't the dunk contest be even better? Because we got more athletic guys. So you would think that we would see a better dunk contest because, I mean, Zach LaVine, I'm watching the dude jump from the free throw line and throw the ball between his legs. I thought I was in the Matrix, dub. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? I ain't never seen nothing like that before. Who's doing stuff like that? Throwing the ball behind his back while he's in the air, jumping from the free throw line. I for real thought I was in the Matrix. You would think that because we are in a more skilled era, because we're in a more skilled era, in a more athletic era, also weekend should be on fire. It should be on fire, but it's not.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Ricky, and the reason why, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And the reason why I think it's the way it is like I just told Dub. The reason why I think it's the way it is, these guys are afraid of getting outclassed. I don't think they believe in their talent because if they did, they would have no problem stepping up. I think that the way to fix this, Dub, is exactly how you do things, how Ticket does things, how we do things. Start calling dudes out. Start calling them out. I bet you if you started calling these guys out, you'll get a different result. I understand that, a lot of these dudes are friends. But start calling them out. I bet you'll get a different result. I'm better than Jason Tatum. I'll bust his ass. Stuff like that. I'm better than this dude. I'm better than that dude. This dude's game is whack. I bet you'll get a different result.
So you're talking about the peers challenging each other, right?
Right. Start calling them out.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see that. But, I mean, everybody's buddy now, so I don't think we'll ever be having that, They don't want to show each other up. Oh, man. Yeah. That's crazy. Chill said that the best All-Star games that he's seen is 1988, 1998. May I please know who won the All-Star game MVP for those two All-Star games?
Jordan won the MVP. Yeah, he won in the 88 and in 98. Yes, he did. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you want to know something? All-Star game MVPs are crucial on Player's Choice, bro. So that's got to make him the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. You want to know who said that?
Nah, who said it?
Crunch.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh man, Sports PSP, chill. How much would you pay Jalen Hurts?
The going rate for whatever the elite quarterback is. And the reason why I say that is because what you saw in the bowl game, in addition to what you saw this season, if you have any questions about what if he was your quarterback moving forward, when you saw the bowl game, all of those questions go to bed. We got our quarterback. And we got our quarterback. Barring any injuries, we got our quarterback for the next 10 years. Pay this dude. So whatever the going rate is, whether it's with Aaron Rodgers, the best quarterbacks in the game, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, whatever those dudes are making, that's the going rate for him because you clearly have your quarterback.
Yeah, that Super Bowl performance was phenomenal too. I mean, there's literally zero, besides the fumble, literally no flaws in his game at all.
Well, that's the thing, Dub. If you had any questions coming up to the bowl game, after the bowl game, that should have been deaded.
100%. Would you, the real Mr. Cropper, Would you rather see Damian Lillard get called for traveling to Russia? He did, or hit the beyond the half court shot?
Traveling to Russia like he did, or hitting the half court shot. I don't know if I understand your question because I don't know if I saw Damian Lillard traveling to Russia. I don't know if I saw that.
Wait, would you rather see Damian Lillard get called for traveling to Russia, or hitting the beyond the half court shot? So basically, would you rather them call him for the travel or just allow him to hit the shot?
Hit the shot. I'd much rather see him hitting half court shots. That's pretty impressive.
Got you. Football breakdown. What's good with you, man?
Good. How are you, gentlemen? Thanks for having me.
What's up, brother?
Nothing. How are you doing, man?
Good, brother. Good.
I saw this whole passing debate about John Stockton. So I come from a football, not soccer, soccer, not American football background. So passing is possession is the fundamental initial. Obviously, you want to score goals. You have to score goals to win.
Right.
But the fundamental first thing you need to do in soccer is to retain possession. And this is why
take care of the ball.
So many European players like Steve Nash are so naturally good at passing and understand the flow and managing the game. He came from a soccer background where you have to make how many passes before you score, whereas in basketball, you score so much more frequently. So, Dub, what I want to ask you is, because people always say, the essential argument here about Stockton is never about how many assists or production. It's about, how flashy is it? Can he make the same passes that Jokic can make? So let me ask you a question. Are 10 simple passes that find the open man just as valuable as 10 intricate passes or complicated passes that find the open man?
When you guys sit here and have these passing debates, I don't really take part in this like that. But when you have all of these passing debates, I understand Lowe's point, as in when we're talking about the greatest passes of all time, all of these guys can make the simple pass. All of you guys have
No, Dub. You know why I don't agree with that? See,
why?
This is and he's gonna agree with me. Not everyone can make the simple pass, because you know what the first step of making a pass is? The decision to make the simple pass. A lot of guys will opt or go to a different position on the floor, or try a dribble move, or do something preceding making the simple pass. The fact that John Stockton can recognize the simple pass and decides to execute it already makes him a better passer and makes him be able to make that simple pass more so than the other guys. So when people say, everyone can make the simple pass, so how come everyone can't make those simple pass to amount to the amount of assist and playmaking production that John Stockton?
Let me ask you this: does Chris Paul make a lot of simple passes in his career?
Yeah, he makes simple passes.
Did Jason Kidd make a lot of simple passes in his career?
Yeah, he did.
They're all essentially all of the great most of the
Okay,
top
so-
5
okay,
to top 10 passes
Let me
of all
tell
time.
you.
Hold on. Keep going, Dub.
The thing is, all of these guys have clearly demonstrated the ability to make all of those simple passes consistently, because they've all have the understanding and recognition of, you know what, even though that this pass isn't as flashy, I can hit the wide open guy here, hit the wide open guy there. They've all proven that. When we sit here talking about the greatest passes of all time, we need to have a separator between the two.
And you know what the separator is?
What?
Don't say
the amount of times you can make the simple pass. Because I'll give you no, it is. Because I can give you a simple comparison. Can LeBron James hit a half-court three or a 35-foot three?
He has.
We've seen him do it multiple times. I've seen LeBron hit 9 threes against Steph Curry while looking directly at Steph Curry, doing exactly what Steph Curry does against Steph Curry. Can he shoot like Steph Curry?
No.
That's not the point, though.
Yeah, it is the point.
Because LeBron hasn't shown a level of consistency of doing that. It's a difference between Jason Kidd and Chris Paul. No, it's a difference between Chris Paul, John Stockton, all these guys, because they've shown a level of consistency of recognizing, making the correct reads, making the correct decisions, making the simple passes. On top of making the simple passes, there are times where they could put the offense on themselves, have attention garnered on themselves, and create more of a variety of difficult passes as well.
I'm confused. How can you say they've proven that they can make the same amount of simple passes when you see the disparity in assist numbers?
Because that's all about the system. That's all about the system. The
Now it's
opportunity,
about
right?
the system.
No, that's true though. That's a factual statement because John Stockton was in a system that was predicated on, and Showtime, you even talked about this where they wanted the other guys, Karl Malone, all those guys to get off, right? That was a system that was his job. So that was their main priorities to get those other guys involved, and that's why the assist numbers is so drastic as it
That's
is.
not that wasn't Chris Paul's responsibility either. That wasn't Rondo's responsibility.
Chris
That
Paul,
wasn't
Chris
Jason
Paul,
Kidd's responsibility either.
Chris Paul's main responsibility was to distribute as well, but he was more of a scoring threat than John Stockton. It's just a fact.
Are you sure? But is that because of the system or because Chris Paul chose to be more of a scoring threat than John Stockton? Because you don't think
Could be
John Stockton
both.
can make? So can John Stockton not make or miss the same shots that Chris Paul can make?
A lot of the times, even in the postseason, a lot of people were relying on John Stockton's unwillingness to score and shoot the rock, going under screens and playing on his inability to score the ball, right? If he would have shown me that in the playoffs, he would have shown me that in the regular season more times than not, then I would sit here and hear your argument, but he didn't do that enough. Chris Paul, a lot of the times what happens in the postseason, he ups his scoring production because he's called to do so. On top of upping his scoring production, he's able to pass at a high level as well.
Is he the same passer as the high level? Because to me, the fact that Lowe said, like, if you want to have certain guys over John Stockton as a better passer, cool, right? It's the same thing with the Jordan LeBron debate. If you want to have Jordan ahead of LeBron, or there's certain players that all exist in the same tier, cool. The fact that Lowe said John Stockton, the guy who overwhelmingly leads, like, to tell me he's not a top 10 playmaker is one of the most blasphemous statements I've heard.
Dang, bro.
It is. How can the guy who leads all time by that much,
like Mars.
we know won't be broken?
I feel
Right?
like Mars because
For the
these
consistency-
takes that y'all saying, it's not my takes. Like,
They ain't
it's
got
not,
nothing to do with
I'm
you.
not saying any of this.
Dub ended up at the fight and he ain't even
I'm
started.
talking
Like,
about
wait a minute,
what?
you swinging
You
on me
know?
for something he said.
No,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you know when in the movies that somebody throws a glass bottle that somebody hits a guy that had nothing to do with it, bro. That's
Yeah,
what's
what
happening
happened to
right
Tony
now.
Parker? Yeah,
Why am
bro.
I in this? I
The
feel
Tony
so-
Parker situation with Chris Brown, I feel you though. But like, but all I'm saying is, like, we can't discount volume and production over that span of time, consistency, and then say, oh, he don't make a behind the back pass, so it's not as cool. Bro, the first thing you have to know about playmaking, to anyone who's listening, it's about the decision to make the simple pass. The simple pass that leads to a bucket is always better than the
But their
complex pass
their
that leads to the
definitions
backs.
their definitions of playmaking is different from ours. Like, I don't view the playmaking the same way that they do, but I understand it because they account for your scoring gravity as well, not just your passing ability. So it's like that's the difference between the two. Which is why I don't want to be in this conversation because that's never been my argument.
Right. I know you're not the playmaking guy, Dub. And another thing I wanted to bring up is yesterday there was a conversation about comparing Jokic's scoring to Giannis's scoring. So again, it's one of those situations. You can prefer Jokic's scoring, but to say it's like clearly better than Giannis's is odd to me, because the thing that people are missing from Giannis, and I was waiting for someone to say it on the panel yesterday, is that Giannis and today, he doesn't have quite the same gravity. But if there was someone to say that has Shaq-like gravity in the NBA, it would be Giannis. And when you have Shaq-like gravity, I do not care about your mid-range shooting. Because if you just have, as Chill was saying, even if you can just barely respect that jump shot, if you have that Shaq-like gravity, right, and you have a semi-respectable jump shot, not as respectable as the other elite players in the league, that opens up your scoring far more on the interior than the other guys, because you have that Shaq-like gravity. Because the defense has to commit to you that little bit much more, you can exploit that opening because of your power and presence on the inside more so than a player like Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant's mid-range shooting is far more important to his offensive capabilities than in Giannis, who they have to build a wall and the defense has to adjust for. So when people were talking about this comparison between Giannis and Jokic, it's weird.
Showtime, would you care to comment on this? Or
I mean, he said everything that I said. So
Thank you. It makes sense. Like, y'all can't compare a guy who's arguably the most powerful interior presence in the league to a guy who's extremely skilled but doesn't have near the physical force and doesn't require a wall being built around him to stop his offensive abilities. Yes, does he have passing to affect the game more? But Giannis is averaging 33. He had 50 in the finals because they couldn't stop him getting through holes, so therefore they had to foul him. That's all due to his interior physical dominance, which is a counterweight to why he can't shoot from the outside. He doesn't need to be shooting high percentages, because if he was, he'd be averaging 45 from the field, and we wouldn't be talking about anyone else.
I'm stuck on the. I'm just stuck on this one dude in the comments, and I don't really pay much attention to the comments, but I'm stuck on this one dude in the comments that said that he was around when Stockton was playing, and Stockton was a good passer, not a great passer. Then you didn't watch John Stockton. You did not. You did not. You didn't watch him. If you think he's a good passer and not a great passer, you did not watch him. You didn't.
Anyone who averages 10 assists for that long is a great passer. Like, I don't even like. There's certain things. Obviously, you can't just look at numbers, right? But there's certain numbers and outliers. For instance, right? You're not going to sit here and be like, look at Jerry Rice's numbers and try to contextualize. Well, but he played enough. The dude has overwhelmingly the most receiving yards in NFL history, and it won't be touched.
Let's take the amount of yards that he has over the course of his career off the table. Dub, if we had a dude running around in the NFL today that was 125 yards a game every week, we'd be like, what the hell? I don't care who he's playing with.
Don't care
who his quarterback is. I don't care who his quarterback is.
Nothing.
If every week this dude on average was 125 yards, 7 catches, 125 yards a game, we'd be like, yo, stop playing.
I think that – wait, no, because I think Cooper Kupp last season was – I don't know how much he averaged, but I know he won the Triple Crown. He was 114 yards a game.
So
and people were still – people still didn't call him the best wide receiver.
He was for that year, though. He had to be. In my opinion, he was.
Yeah.
I don't do – Yo,
it's good to talk to you, though, my man. We appreciate you. No doubt about that. I absolutely appreciate you, my man. No doubt.
Sorry for the explosion. See you.
No, we good. We good. This is what we here for. Thanks, brother. We appreciate you.
Peace.
Definitely.
Peace, bro.
It does get tricky, though, Mars, because, I find myself a lot of – it does – Mars, I'm sorry. Dub, I apologize. It does get tricky, though, Dub, because I find myself a lot of times getting caught up, whether I'm here or whether I'm on TikTok or something like that. I got to now defend something that you said. I got to defend something that Ticket said or something that Mike. Wait a minute. I wasn't even in that conversation. I was sitting over there being quiet when Dub and Mars or Dub and Low or Dub and Fluent was going at it. I was chilling. Don't involve me in that. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. That happens a lot of times to Mars. Happens to Mars a lot, and I feel bad for Mars every time that happens to him. Shout out to Mars, though, bro. Big fan Breezy, you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm right here just enjoying the show, watching y'all go at it. What up, Player Dub? What up, Player Chill? Player Chill.
Fact, what's up, homeboy? How you doing?
Chilling. I know y'all seen all the moves being made with the Brooklyn Nets. And last time I was on a conversation with Chill, we was talking about how you got to start from the top and from the front office. And you see, we've just made that move, signing Jacques Vaughn to 26-27 season. And I liken our team to the Kings. You see the Kings when they rebuild, and they did it with the coach. And I'm saying that we're doing that with Jacques Vaughn. And I hear a lot of people saying this and that about, and that's why I pulled up to Chill with Chill to see what he had to say about it. About, in my opinion, our biggest problem is who's going to be our number one option. They saying Mikal Bridges. I'm saying it should be Cam Thomas, because Mikal Bridges is a better defender than Cam Thomas. And we don't want Mikal Bridges exerting all his energy on both sides of the ball like that.
Right.
So don't make him the dominant scorer. Make him the secondary scorer behind a Cam Thomas. And I think and I know about the 03-04 Pistons and how they were the second best defensive team in the league, but they weren't that stellar on offensive side of the ball. But they did have 4 double-digit scorers with Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, and I think Ben Wallace. So what I'm saying to you, my fault, Rashid. So my question to you is, do you think that the Nets could get to the second round and reach the same ceiling that KD and Kyrie did in their 4-year era? I think we could reach that ceiling this season.
I don't know if you could do it this year, because now what we got to do is we got to completely switch up everything we're doing. So you can't just take 27 a game out the lineup and then take another 27 a game out the lineup and expect to just get back to that level, because there's a different way you guys were playing. Now you're playing a different way because, one, you don't have those guys. 2, you got a different style of offense. Now with signing Jacques Vaughn, I think that gives you guys stability. All right, we got our coach for the next 4 seasons. In the process of having our coach for the next 4 seasons, all right, let's build a unit around this dude that's going to cater to how he coaches. Let's go get the players that are going to be there, that are going to be successful with him, as opposed to, well, we don't know if Jock Vaughn going to be here for the next season. When you get that stability, now we can now move it to the players. Now you already got, I think you got one of your guards in Cam Thomas, right? I think you got another swingman in Mikal Bridges. We need a lead guard now. We got to go get a lead guard. We got to get a primary ball handler. We got to get a distributor, and we got to get a guy who he don't need to score a lot, but we got to get a guy who can score, but more of a distributor than a scorer.
You don't like Dinwiddie, Chill?
I don't like Dinwiddie moving forward because I'm thinking about Cam Thomas, 21 years old. That's number one. Not only is Cam Thomas 21, Mikal Bridges is 24, 23, 20, 24, something like that, 25. Nick Claxton. So you got your rim protector, right? You got one of your dirty work guys, which I would much rather move Claxton to the 4. I don't think he's a 5, to be honest with you. I would much rather. I'd much rather move him to the 4. But I think you got the capital in order to build that. I think that let's get off of what you guys are doing right now. Let's forget, we can go to the second round, because what that's doing now is that's giving you dudes false hope that, let's build this thing like you were supposed to build it and build a championship team that's going to sustain this, as opposed to some quick fix right now.
Okay. I mean, shit, that's fair to say. And what I will add to that is the reason why I mentioned KD and Kyrie is because the conversation we had last week about just building a culture, and they tried to do it with superstars and KD and Kyrie, and it didn't work. We missed. Now that we're doing it with Jacques Vaughn, I feel like this ceiling wasn't that high. I mean, second round, 7th game. I'm as a fan of the Brooklyn Nets, not necessarily of a player in KD and Kyrie, because they're not Brooklyn Net players no more. Like the ceiling is not that high. And the reason why I said the second round is because, again, I liken them to the Detroit Pistons in 03-04, because I feel like we're a better defensive team than an offensive team. And you're right. I'm not even debating the whole missing out on KD points and Kyrie points. I kind of push back with Kyrie because I feel like we're going to get that in Cam Thomas. Whatever Kyrie was averaging, I can almost guarantee that Cam Thomas is going to average those same numbers. In my opinion.
If he knows. Because again, Cam Thomas is a guy who I've been praising. I was praising Cam Thomas weeks ago. I don't know if you heard me talk about him.
I follow the show.
I felt like he was wasting away. But the fact that he now knows that, I'm playing 25, 30, 35 minutes a night. I know that for a fact. He's going to play differently, as opposed to, I don't know if I'm going to get the hook, if I'm going to play 18 minutes tonight, or I might play 20 minutes, and then I might play 12 minutes. No, I know for a fact I'm going to be on the floor and I'm going to be contributing. When you get that, when you have that kind of minutes, then you're going to get that production that you're looking for, specifically from a guy like Cam Thomas. You guys are playing right now with house money. There is no team that loses their best player and their second best player and has the expectations of doing anything in the playoffs. So whatever you guys do, I mean, let's keep it 100. I lost a dude that's 27 a game. I lost another dude that was 25 a game. So, and I replaced him with a good scorer and a young guy. Whatever we do in the playoffs, we're playing with house money. So if we end up winning a playoff game, great. If we end up winning a playoff series, oh my goodness, we might be on to something, right? So anything that you guys do moving forward, whether you make the playoffs or not, is with house money. But I think that I love what Brooklyn, I said this to you before, man. I love what Brooklyn did with trading for KD. You got all your picks back. Now you can build this unit the way you should have been building it in the first place.
Nah, I appreciate you, Chill. Shout out to Dub, shout out to Chill. Miss Ox, man. Shout out to Ox, man. He a dope host too, man. I love the show, man. Thank y'all for having me, man.
Absolutely. No doubt, brother. Good to talk to you.
Breezy, thank you for the time and support, bro. You be safe.
No doubt. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My boy Dub filling in today. He doing work, no doubt.
Man, you already know, bro. It's Jersey things. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Alex Pickering, Chill. I need your best starting 5 all time of what if players.
What if players? All right. So, what if players? Derrick Rose at the 1. What if players? Brandon Roy at the 2. What if players? Len Bias at the 3. Let's see. What if players? I'm a little foggy on the 4, but Greg Oden at the 5.
Oh,
those are the. those are the guys that I'm looking at, and I'm still a little foggy on who my 4-man is of a what if guy, a guy that at the 4 spot, if this dude would have held up, how much better he would have been. See, Boogie started breaking down around year 10, so Boogie wasn't a what if. Boogie was around for a long time, but those other dudes, I could say Grant Hill at the 3, but Len Bias is at the top of my list of dudes of what ifs. Len Bias was a guy. I can't really talk a lot about Len Bias though, because I get misty eyed and I start getting choked up because I saw a franchise player, man. I saw somebody who was a generational talent, and I was supercharged about what he was going to look like in the pros. So I can't really talk too much about him, but he's the biggest what if. Brandon Roy, had he been able to hold up, his knees started breaking down. Kobe said how difficult it was to deal with him. And Derrick Rose, I mean, youngest league MVP at 22. So I that was 4 guys off the top of my head. I can't.
You want to include Bill Walton as a what if guy?
Not more than Greg Oden. Because to be honest with you, when I look at Greg Oden, like I saw what Bill Walton was doing, and he did end up breaking down, and he did come back. Like Greg Oden, I thought I saw Patrick Ewing 2.0. I was like, yo, they're your 5-man for the next 10 years, and you're gonna build your unit around him. And the Portland Trailblazers are gonna be a championship contender at some point with this dude. At some point, they will be that, because it was still a big man era when that was going on.
But you didn't find the 4 spot, right?
I didn't. I'm trying to.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe you can have a 5, put him at the 4.
Maybe Walton at the 4, and maybe that would work with Walton at the 4, because Walton did play with Robbie Parrish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe that would work. Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe that would work.
Got a few more super chats.
Yeah.
And Angie Carr with another one. Dunk contest feet pass winners. 03 Jason Richardson. 2000 Vince Carter. 2015 Zach LaVine. 87 Jordan. Who taking it?
Angie, Zach LaVine is doing he's throwing the ball between his legs at the free throw line. I ain't never seen that before. I mean, as good as Jordan was with the kiss the rim dunk, which was incredible. I mean, 2000 was the Vince Carter show. But what I seen from Zach LaVine, that was just incredible. I think I'd have to go with Zach LaVine. Because, I mean, around the back, dunking the basketball.
I feel you. And then it's not just regular, it's at the free throw line. So
Dub, I swear to God, I felt like I was in the Matrix. I'm sitting there watching this like, yo, what am I watching right now? What is this?
Yes, sir. Thoughts on CBS ranking Braun at 11?
Thought on CBS ranking Braun at 11. I don't have any comment for that. There's no way you can give me 10 guys better than James. And if you do, what are you basing this on?
This season, that's what they'll base it off.
Oh, you're talking about this year? Oh, I thought you meant all time. So this year, I mean, I think the winning aspect is the only reason why you could keep him out of the top 10, because they ain't winning. That's fair. That's the only thing, though. That's the only thing.
Okay, got you. Jerome Winston. Hey, fellas, what's your thoughts on OKC? I know we were supposed to be rebuilding, but SGA is turning into a superstar. Josh Giddey is a stud, too.
And now what happens with SGA is that the timeline has now got pushed up because SGA turned into what he turned into. So now we're no longer in, all right, well, let's see what this looks like in another 2 or 3 years. Nah, we can't do that. So when Chet shows up, Chet got a ball, and Chet doesn't have the ball over the next 2 or 3 years. Chet's got a ball now. We got to see something. We got to see something productive from Chet, because SGA, you have now found your superstar. You have found your franchise player. So now the timeline is moved up because we can get close to a contract year, and then you could lose him. So you got to make sure that you make the right moves with this group in order to hold on to SGA. No doubt about it.
Got you. Mars is real quick because Mars keeps bugging me about it. Who is better, Damian Lillard or Paul Pierce?
Who is better, Damian Lillard or Paul Pierce?
Yeah. He won't stop bugging me about it. It's close, right?
It is. It's not, that's what I'm thinking. It's not. I can't just say Paul Pierce, even though Paul Pierce won the Finals MVP before he got with KG, before he got with Ray Allen. I mean, they were winning 24 games. Damian Lillard, he was in the playoffs every year, and he was the guy. They built that unit around him. Even when he lost LaMarcus Aldridge, his crew was still in the playoffs, rolling. And he was an all NBA performer for years. his ability to score on anybody, not just score on anybody. I think he brought more gravity to the game offensively because his ability to stretch the defense. I mean, I think Paul Pierce might be a little bit different in the aspect of defending because you had to defend a little bit more, Dub, during that time. You did have to defend a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
But if I had to pick between the two of these dudes and with my unit, I think Paul Pierce is a piece. I think Damian Lillard is a franchise player.
Thank you. Thank you. That's fire. Mars, take that L, bro. Does an MVP guarantee you an Hall of Fame discussion?
If Derrick Rose doesn't get into the Hall of Fame, he'll be the only NCAA finalist and NBA League MVP not to be in the Hall of Fame. He'll be the only one.
Got you. I got one more guess, but I'm gonna ask you guys what's good, brother.
What up?
What's good?
What's up?
I have a question.
Yep.
Yes.
In a matchup in the finals between Suns and Sixers, who do you favor?
The Suns and the Sixers. So this year with Phoenix against Philly, if Philly is playing like I think that they could play, and what I mean when I say playing like I think that they could play, if they're in the finals, what they're telling me is they told Joel Embiid, we're going as far as you can take us. And Joel Embiid took them to the finals. So if Joel Embiid took them to the finals, they're winning the NBA championship.
How many games?
I think that they could beat them in 5-6 games. Because Joel Embiid, if Joel Embiid, if they're in the NBA Finals, it's off the strength of Joel Embiid, which means that he is completely and utterly dominant. And if he's dominant like that, the fact that Phoenix gave up what they gave up in terms of getting Kevin Durant, don't get me wrong, I can appreciate the points. I can appreciate adding 26, 27 a game to the roster. Is Kevin Durant going to hold up for the duration? I don't know, because Kevin Durant has broken down in recent years. Not only has he broken down, he's also underperformed in the playoffs. We saw what happened to him last year. If the Philadelphia 76ers are in the NBA Finals, that's off the strength of Joel Embiid. They made it clear, Joe, big fella, you taking us. We're going as far as you take us. And if they're in the NBA Finals, that means Joel Embiid is dominant, and that means that there's nothing that is going to be in his way to stop him. And I don't think that there's anything Phoenix could do about that.
Fair, that's fair. But I don't trust James Harden.
Me neither.
Doc Rivers.
Me neither. And
nobody does.
Me neither. But the difference with that, my man, is there's a reason why we're in the NBA Finals, because of the big fella. So I don't have to trust him more than I do the big fella. That's why we're here.
Yes, but a lot can happen. Maybe Middleton gets hurt again, and they beat Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. Maybe Tatum gets hurt, and they beat Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't trust them. I think in the East, they are the team that can lose in the first round by the Knicks. Not the Knicks beating them, them losing to the Knicks.
If Philadelphia were to lose in the first round, and it wouldn't be because the Knicks beat them, it was their series to lose, and they ended up losing it. We having a way different conversation about Philadelphia. Way different.
And Joel, James Harden, 100%. Yo, way bro, different. Love the jersey, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Good to talk to you, brother. No doubt.
Be easy,
absolutely.
Bro.
Good to talk to you.
Peace. Fire. I love Heat jersey, bro. I love Heat fans, man. A couple more super chats. Chilltown, what moment in LeBron's career made you say LeBron passed Jordan? Also, Dub, how you feel about Kevin Love to your Heat? Happy y'all got shooting.
It was the 2018-2019 season when it was Christmas when he had that Laker team. They were 2.5 games out of first place. That same Laker team was in 10th place the year before in the Western Conference, where everybody said that how awesome the Western Conference was. They were in 10th place the year before. On Christmas, he had them 2.5 games out of first place. It was at that moment that I felt like, I think he's better than him. I do.
That's crazy. That's the same year I switched up on LeBron James, which is crazy. I switched up where I didn't like him anymore.
Right.
I used to be a LeBron guy, like a LeBron fan. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. When MJ had Scottie Pippen, I used to be one of those guys, man. It was a bad time for me. Edgy Card, chill. Your thoughts on Steve Francis? He was my favorite player growing up. Certified problem when he was in Houston.
And if he played today, as wide open as the game would be, he would be a perennial all-star. Steve Francis was incredibly athletic, could score on anybody. He was a show, no doubt about that. Definitely.
Got you. All right, last question of the day, man. Second half of the season is upon us after the All-Star break. What do you think what are your predictions going forward? Who do you think can surprise people? Who's going to get into rhythm? Who's the underdogs, dark horses, or who do you think is just the clear favorites, man? What do you want to talk about that?
I still think that Milwaukee is the team to beat in the East. As good as Boston is, I think Boston is the best team, but I think that the road to the NBA championship, I think that Milwaukee is the best team. Even though Boston is the best team right now, I think Milwaukee is going to win the NBA championship, barring any more health issues. Out west, I'm not sold on Phoenix like everybody else is. I'm not on that Phoenix train. I got to see it first. I know that it looks good in terms of buckets and all of that scoring output, but eventually you're going to have to slow some people down. And I don't really see it unless DeAndre Ayton decides that I'm going to be a primary rim protector, I'm going to be a rim runner, and I'm going to be a glass cleaner. If he decides to do that and then be that interior presence in the paint, I think that we might have a different Phoenix team, but I'm not on the hook yet with those guys. I think Memphis is going to be a lot better because Luke Kennard adding him to the mix, because now they got a jump shooter, a guy that they have to respect. They ain't had that before. I mean, Desmond Bane and Brooks, they were one of the worst jump shooting teams in the league. So to have Luke Kennard, a guy that could stretch the defense, I think he gives them a different element that helps them out a lot. I wish I could be more on this Laker train, but I'm not, yo. I'm not on this Laker train like everybody else is, man. We got 24 games left in the regular season, and they're in 13th place. I'm not on this Laker train like everybody else is, man. I'm just not. If they didn't make the playoffs, I would not be surprised.
So I remember we had a conversation literally right before the Lakers trade did happen, and we were both out on the Lakers. As soon as that trade happened, I got back on the Lakers train, because in my head it's like, if LeBron James is as good as I think he is, AD is as good as I think they are, there's no reason that I don't think that they're 2 games better than every other teams, right? They're only 2 games away from the 10th seed. And with being the 10th seed, now you have a playing spot. And with being a playing spot, I highly doubt that a lot of those teams in the playing can beat you guys. So
one game.
One game. So my whole point is, if LeBron is as good as I think that he is, AD is as good as I think that he is, there's no reason why I don't think that they should make the playoffs. That's my whole thing. So if they don't make the push, the whole LeBron outside of the top 10, AD's not really that good, I could understand those arguments more. But right now, I mean, I can't write these guys off, bro. They finally got everything that they needed, they got.
All right.
I can't discount that.
Okay.
Any other takes from second half of the season? Any other teams that you want to talk about?
Dallas is. I think Dallas goes the other way, but if they end up making the playoff, if they end up making it to the, I think this is a win-win for Dallas. If they end up making it to the Western Conference Championship, or they end up making it to the NBA Finals, I think Irv walks at the end of the day. I don't think he stays in Dallas, and they're going to have a lot of money. In the process of them having a lot of money, they're going to be really attractive. If they end up losing, Mark Cuban can make it clear that at least we're trying. We are making an effort. And I just think this is a win-win. They can't guard anybody. Let's be clear about it, especially on the perimeter. They can't guard anybody. But I think this is a win-win for Dallas. I do.
Got you.
Yep.
Jay Reezy with a super chat. Ain't going to take over the league soon.
I ain't fighting that, man.
There's a lot. The future is promising, right? There's a lot of players that has potential to take over the league, and I can't wait, bro. I can't wait for the future, man.
Yeah.
But, that concludes of today of Chill with Chill, bro. Chill. Do you have any final words before we head out?
Take it light, but take it.
I should have just said it. So y'all be safe, man. Like the video on your way out.